Music Hall. Lance, thanks for coming back on the show, man.
Pleasure to be here.
Oh, and you know what? I'm just gonna get right into it because you're past guest and the whole thing. You know the rundown. Oh, first off, we've been calling you the doctor of booking.
The doctor of booking. You guys are so funny.
No.
I'm lucky if I'm a nurse.
Yo, first off, that's against the whole whole vibe. They do a lot of stuff. They do more than doctors. They work harder than doctors. I say it like that.
My stepmom is actually the dean of a nursing college, and I have ultimate respect for what they do. I don't think I'm that. I still have like a lot to learn, but hopefully there's ways that I can help and all that stuff. Just trying to stay humble, man.
You know, see, that's a sign of someone that can really hold their stuff together because you're just like, you're killing it right now. You were killing it at the Bright Music Hall.
It's great of you to say, man.
And it's just like, yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I got some more stuff to handle. It's like, yo, you're doing it right now. A lot of people want to be where you're at.
Thank you.
Well, it's true. And you know what? Like I said, I don't want to build you up too much because listeners could listen to past podcasts on Say My Black on Blogspot of Lance in the past. I have a few questions for him, but I'm just going to go right into it. There's been a lot of venues closing in the city. What is the situation like? How is it that you, with the Bright Music Hall, has been able to thrive where Harper's Ferry has failed?
I think the two business models are kind of different. Crossroads books House of Blues, Orpheum Theater, Paradise Rock Club, and Bright Music Hall. So Bright Music Hall is kind of the jump-off point, and then there's other venues where I think just the profits are much, much greater. I think smaller rooms, you book more on volume, and you're looking to make what you can from each show, but it's tougher because I think obviously the bigger shows are more lucrative, and you sort of need those to kind of subsidize what's going on in smaller venues if you're not profitable all the time. And I think having bigger venues sort of lets you take more risk on smaller shows. And I think when you just are running one venue and you have to make money in that one venue, it can be tough, and it's really a test of who your booker is and how talented that they are. And I just think it can be kind of tough. I think the business model that we're running in comparison to what Harper's is running is just night and day. But to answer what you asked at first, and feel free to cut me off if I'm on a tangent.
Oh no, I'm just here, just sitting howling, just realizing how pretty you look.
Thank you, sir. But I think
this is how you get to the top, people. You hit on people like this guy.
Exactly. And if you listen right now and actually want to see what the man looks like, which is very good. Follow us on Periscope on CNY Blackout because we're live broadcasting this right now.
You guys are going to be so disappointed when you see how I am. That's the best part about radio. I mean,
and we dropped all our viewers. They're gone. They're just gone. We've actually gone into the negatives.
Lance, did you come in here and expect that you're going to get hit on by two very large and hairy men?
I'm always blushing and I'm always flattered, and I'll take it anywhere I can get it, trust me.
Oh. Worst phrasing out there, period. All right, but back to it. You were saying, like,
so I think,
business models.
Yeah, I think with all the venues closing, I think, lots of people talk in Boston in the scene, and I think people are looking to come up with one reason why all these venues are closing. But I think it's really...
It's the tea.
It's this, that, it's
yeah,
the music business. It's not. It's none of those things. The concert business in Boston is great. We're one of the largest music markets in the country. We spit out tons of solid local bands that get signed. I could sit here and fire off names, but I'm sure everybody already knows. I think the situations are kind of isolated, and it's important to understand what happened with each of them. With Johnny D's, you see that there's a woman who is in the business for years, and she's there. She lives it, like how we live it, you and your band, and me and my business. And
right.
I think she has a family, and she wants to get out of it. And Johnny D's is doing well. Every time I'm there, it's busy, and it's a great venue, and they're going to close because she's going out on the top, kind of like Jerry Seinfeld did with his show.
Mm-hmm.
The Middle East, I think, it's not closing, but, I know that they had sort of a transition where, something happened where their landlord sort of passed away, and they had an option to buy the building, which they did, and you obviously know that the mortgage is a little bit more than the rent, so
right,
it's tougher to do that, and they had to raise their rates on TTs, and it was tough for them, and I know TTs in like the Middle East had a little bit of a thing before they went out, but I don't think it had anything to do with business. It was just sort of a changing of who owned the building and how much that they were, the TTs had to pay to be in there, and both sides have their sort of side of the story, but I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that TTs wasn't doing well. Dave Veer was booking that room very, very well.
Absolutely.
We were putting good shows in there. I know Pixies was one of the final shows, and that was a great show. But I think venues going out of business in Boston is an isolated thing, and I don't think people talk about the cuisine and the locales and the Thunder Roads and the venues that are popping back up to sort of take their place, sort of.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you just had two major venues, well, three, but two major venues that have large history in the city. Johnny D's, that's a major rock, area. I mean, rock, jazz, and blues area. And then you have TT's, which is technically the oldest business of venue in the city.
Mm-hmm.
In Metro Boston. Was it like 40-something years at that
They
point?
did 40 years like a couple of years ago, so it was 40 and change. So I mean, I think that's a great run.
Yeah, so that's the history of it. That's why everyone's so heated about it. But yes, you bring up a really good point of cuisine and locale like coming up right now. Like Somerville, I feel like Somerville goes in waves because you had Precinct beforehand. PA's has always been there, and what was the other venue? Oh, Rosebud.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Rosebud.
That was very much coming up for a lot of that time, and then it was just like Somerville's the spot to be. Then Precinct left, and then Rosebud left, and it's just